try this again. Good morning, everyone. My name is Hanna Olivas. I'm from She Rises Studios. And I'm coming live to you today to talk to you about the amazing power of publishing. I am going to be joined here shortly with an extraordinary guest who recently published a solo book talking about authenticity, finding out who she really is, trying to find her identity. Her name is Pauline, and the name of her book is called The Other Pauline. But while we wait for her to arrive, I wanted to wish everyone a happy Monday. Mondays seem to be either someone's favorite day or the hardest day of the week. I personally like to take them on and say challenge accepted. I think it's a day we look forward to in terms of a new week, a new chapter, a start of fun, inspirational things. And we can control the narrative in the sense of being prepared for what the rest of the week is going to look like. Mondays are the day to set the tone. I know a lot of people do planning ahead for on Sundays, self-care, reflection, but Mondays are really the days where most of us are up and at it quite early on the grind. So the power of publishing has become a very important piece of telling our stories. And at She Rises Studios, we have made a global impact. We have published many solos and many anthologies over the last 2 years, and we're actually getting ready to celebrate our second birthday for a series that we created and a movement called Becoming an Unstoppable Woman. So there's so many reasons why you would want to share your story. So I see Pauline has entered the studio. So welcome.
Hi.
And we're going to talk about all things Pauline, and the book is called The Other Pauline. So welcome, and please share with our audience who you are, what you do, and then I have some questions to dive into with you today.
Awesome. It's so nice to be here, Hannah. I've been looking forward to this. Okay, so who am I? That's interesting because somebody asked me that this weekend. And, the first thing that comes up is like, oh, I'm nobody. But I'm like, no, stop that. And so you know what? No, I am a best-selling author. I'm a dental assistant. I'm a vision board facilitator. I'm a top awareness coach for 2023. I'm working on creating a foundation for girls who didn't know their dads growing up, so they can become whole. And that's my purpose.
So you're a lot of things.
Yeah.
I think one of the things that I'll add to you is you're an extraordinary woman who has this powerful voice, who has tenacity, strength, bravery. You're very analytical, which I find to be a huge skill, especially in today's, pressures. I mean, we just have to be. So you wrote this book, The Other Pauline, and I was just sharing with our audience, how important it is to really share our stories and why we created the platform we did. So you and I had a semi-personal conversation last week, and you were kind of sharing, some of the ups and downs of writing this book and what it took. So for my very first question, for those who may have missed your Light the Torch, is why did you decide to write this book? What was finally the moment when you said, you know what, enough, I'm going to share, I'm going to talk about this?
To be quite honest, I would say, I'm not sure if there was actually one moment, but a lot of little moments. My mother-in-law, whose name is also Pauline, she encouraged me to speak and to write. I've always written, like even as a little girl, in my journals, my diaries. But my mother-in-law, that's who my book is dedicated to. She was, she really, really encouraged me. And I would say her encouragement while she was going through her radiation, her chemo. And she said, get it out. You only live once. And so how she signed all of our cards or letters, anything she wrote to me was always the other Pauline. And so that's where the title comes from. But so it wasn't just one little moment, but many conversations with her. Probably. I think I always had the book inside, but she was probably the catalyst that set the fire under my butt. And she was so good at doing.
Mother-in-laws usually are. So prior to your solo book, I know that you wrote in another book, Mom Magic, Mompreneur. You talked about the magical talents that we as mothers have. You wrote in Becoming an Unstoppable Influencer, and you wrote about the power of having good influence. So I feel like those two books, in terms of your participation and what you wrote, really also maybe have been another step that finally said, you know what, I'm going to do this, because those are two really extraordinary chapters that you wrote as well. So I think this is something that you've always had embedded in you, maybe never really knew for sure. But I think in terms of your writing and your message, I find it to be very extraordinary. So my next question is, when you're writing this book, what do you think was one of the hardest parts for you to share?
The part about my first marriage. And the lies that I had to grow up with. There were lots of really difficult parts. I really allowed myself to go back and feel the feels, because that authentically is part of your healing. And so, yeah, those were very difficult parts. And another really difficult part was for everyone now who will be listening to our conversation here today. Even dentally, my dental colleagues, things like, yeah, this is me, guys. Like, I know, like, quite a few of them know a little bit about me, some more than others, but you know what? If I'm going to be helping women globally, this is how to do it. And for all of those people who I've coached while in the office, or help them through that tough time, this is why I do it. And this is why I'm not going to say I forced myself, but I kind of did force myself to feel those feels. I didn't want to go back there, but I did. Because by me doing it, I'm stronger so that I can help everybody else.
Well, I remember the very first time I met you, which has been quite some time now, and I said, wow, this girl is guarded. Something is going on. Something is happening behind the scenes, and whatever it is, it's going to reveal itself, and here we are today. So without giving away too much of what is in the book, because honestly, I want everyone to buy the book. I feel like it's a book that is meant to be for everyone, man and woman, because there's so many different impeccable pieces and parts to the story. So without giving it away completely, give our listeners and viewers kind of a synopsis of what it is about.
Wow.
You can do
it's about a little girl who grew up not knowing her true identity until very recently, and due to that, caused her to make many challenging decisions throughout her life in constant search for that identity.
Mm.
How's that?
Perfect. So when I first asked you, who are you? I'm going to ask you again, who are you?
I'm Pauline Grouette.
Yeah, you are. You're this badass baddie who wrote and exposed every single life-changing decision and moment, and you shared it to the world. So, let's talk for a second again, in the terms of pieces of you writing this book. So, not only did you share it, but you nailed it. You hit best-selling, hot new release, Canada, UK, USA, and those stats are still climbing as we speak, which tells me that what you wrote, a lot of people identified with. And so we were talking, you and I think it was Friday, and you said that you were experiencing some pushback. And I could hear it in your voice. I could feel it that, it's very hard. So, what do you say to those men and women who want to publish and share their story? Because it really will change the lives of others. Now that you're experiencing some of that pushback and that, I don't want to call it meanness, but let's just call it, lack of understanding on their end. What do you say to men and women who want to share stories but are afraid to receive pushback and be shunned and shut out? How do you overcome that?
What I tell lots of people, including my patients, is that it's confidence in yourself, believing in yourself. And that confidence, a very good friend of mine told me one time, it's like a muscle.
Mm-hmm.
Building it and working on it, taking those scary steps every single day. And ultimately, it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks, because being able to truly believe in yourself is all that matters. Because when it comes down to it, doing the heavy lifting, nobody can do it for you, because nobody knows you as well as you know yourself, no matter what anybody says.
Right.
So working on it every single day for anybody who wants to write or feels that they, figure out what that small step is for them. With me, it was doing that collaboration first.
Mm-hmm.
For some people, I know they start by speaking.
Mm-hmm.
Some people will do a workshop or work with their patients or whatever that little step is.
Yeah.
You're getting your voice out there, and that's part of that influencer book. But so for those people who are worried about what it's going to entail and that pushback, the biggest question I ask you right now is, how much has it already cost you personally, professionally, financially, independently, like yourself, deep inside?
That's a very, very good question. I have a class that I'm currently teaching, and I told all of the girls, I said, the limit is you. The
Exactly.
sky isn't the limit. No one else is the limit but you. So
Exactly.
if you want to speak out, if you want to share whatever it is that you want to do, the limit is you. And until we realize that, I think we kind of get stuck. Why do you think women especially are so afraid to show and share their authenticity with the world? What do you think one of the biggest reasons is?
Judgment. Judgment, yeah, from others. What are people going to think? What are they going to say? And again, it comes down to the lack of confidence in themselves, because, and especially women coming out of this era, of being in the kitchen and everything else, there's still that glass ceiling. I don't care what anybody says. There's still that glass ceiling. We still have to work harder. We still have to put in those extra hours. We still have to be extra direct or analytical to get our point across, because we're kind of put into that position where if we're not, and pardon my language here, but it doesn't make us a bitch.
No, it
How
doesn't. You're right.
how many men have always been direct and analytical to get to where they need to be?
Mm.
And just because we have different body parts, it shouldn't make a difference. And so yeah, it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks or says, but women need to look in that mirror and figure out who they are. Because, okay, and kind of a bit of a tangent here, but looking in that mirror, there's a lot of labels. You're a mom, you're a what, could be like, mom, a wife, career person, a chauffeur, a dry cleaner, a chef. And it's like, but then who are you? Who is Hanna? You know what I mean? And with the vision board facilitation that I do, lots of people have trouble answering, who am I? And lots of people will put like, but this child wants this and this child wants this, so I'm going to put that on my board so I can create this for them. I'm like, no, this is for you.
Yeah.
What do you need? What do you want? What do you strive for?
Can you see why she's so incredible, everybody?
Hanna.
Can you see why I just adore you? So next time someone says, who are you? You're going to say, I'm Pauline, a badass who wrote a solo book, who speaks, who shares her story all over the world. That's who I am. I'm someone who helps others. I'm someone who has a passion for authenticity, and so on and so on. See, it's not that. It's very easy for us to be worried about what is the right answer, but the truth is, the answer is the truth.
Exactly.
The answer is the truth.
Exactly.
So I want to put a call to action to everyone who is watching now, everyone who's going to watch the replay, and everyone who's going to share this live for Pauline on their network. And I'm asking, please purchase this book, write reviews, support this incredible story, and let's get it into the hands of future readers and men and women who really need to hear this message. And this book is available across Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Goodreads, and the list goes on and on. Pauline, please share with us how people can find you.
My website is guidedjourneycoaching.ca. I have my Calendly up there. All my contact information is up there, my email, everything else. So if you go to the website, please get a hold of me, even if it's for a chat right now, and see if we're a good fit to work together. You know what? It's taking those first steps. So,
Pauline, tell me something before we go. What's next for you? What are you working on?
Right now, I'm establishing. I just acquired a place in a monastery, actually, for my vision board workshops. As part of taking those first steps for some people who they're not sure where to start. So this will kind of give them direction. I'm also working on a dental book.
Wow, okay.
And for all my colleagues, to be quite honest, it's called The Real Dental Superheroes. And it might not be the answer you're thinking. So, and what else is new is next is I'm establishing this foundation with other colleagues, other authors that I had worked with in the past. And so I'm very, very excited about that for little girls who, as I said, grew up without their dads in particular, so they can become whole.
I was one of those little girls. I think that's why I was so pulled to your story and just how you shared the journey. You know, it's hard not to have a dad. It is. I don't think anyone realizes the void that we as daughters go through. So that's why I feel like the story is so important. But it's a piece of what you've shared. So I want to say congratulations to you. And for anyone watching, listening, watching the replay, please comment, ask her questions, engage with Pauline, because trust me when I tell you, she is quite an incredible woman with a lot of so much heart to share and willingness to help others. The vision board workshops, I can't even stress the importance of them. Even if you're not a business owner, everyone should be working on those. We're coming onto a new year. This is the time right now. And you did nail it. And I know I keep saying we're going to go, but you said something. What is your vision board? What is your vision for you? Because once you identify what that is, then the ones that are closest to you, that's when you start helping create a vision for them in the sense of what you can do, not what they can do, but what you can do. So let's put that challenge out there too for everyone to check out that class that you're talking about, getting on that call with you. Let's put that call to action out there. So get the book and get with her to do vision boards because it matters. And the vision has to be about you and what you want before we can share our vision for our kids, husbands, and everything else. And like you said, we do wear many hats. This weekend, I cleaned house. I'm a house cleaner. I wash dishes. I'm actually I could be a professional dishwasher. So there's, the glitz and glamour of writing a solo book is also behind the scenes on the day-to-days we do, right?
Exactly.
Right, cleaning, taking kids, being there's so many different hats. So long story short, get the book, The Other Pauline, get in touch with Pauline. If you cannot find her, reach out to She Rises Studios. We will connect you. Thank you, Pauline. Is there anything you want to say before we go?
There actually is one thing, kind of adding to what you just said. It's part of that ripple effect. Just kind of going back to what you were saying, that ripple effect. By making that vision board initially, you might think, oh, but I'm being selfish because I'm doing it, just for me. It's not selfish, because it's like putting that oxygen mask on yourself first before you can help anybody else. If you don't help yourself, you're not going to be able to help anybody else. And so all those little ripple effects, you know what? They do, it might not happen overnight, but they do happen. And the one thing I was going to say about, just to kind of clarify for the audience, I had an amazing stepdad. I really, really did. But it's that DNA tie with your biological father. And when you're missing that, it's a totally different connection. So, I will always love and respect him, but we didn't have that connection. And it's totally different. So I just want to clarify that, because writing this book, everybody's going to have a different interpretation. And I cannot control how they're going to interpret or misinterpret what I'm saying. But I need to know, or not need to know, I want people to know that the love and respect for my ancestors, my family, my step family, is all in this book. And so when you're reading it, learn from it. And I've done a lot of living in my years. We're not going to say that number, but there's so many different aspects in my life that people can relate to, whether it's being a single parent or abusive relationship or toxic work environment or whatever it is. So I'm very, very grateful to have this discussion with you today, Hannah. And it's been great. I'm so beyond excited about the results, and so appreciative and grateful for, #1 bestseller.
Yeah, you did it.
Keep it going, guys. It's this is my small way of changing the world. And I'm not trying to sound naive, but you know what? I know what my vision board is, on my vision board right in front of me, right there. And I will be, in my small way, helping change the world.
I always say dream big, but do bigger. That's my philosophy.
There you go. And you're not going to know unless you start taking those little steps one at a time.
Yeah, it's true.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, because you've done an awesome job yourself too, just with the like, you know, She Rises Studios and all the books you guys have done. It's been amazing. So,
It has been
you know,
quite the journey, and we're just beginning. So
yeah, the TV state they have a TV show, you guys. It's been amazing. You guys have to check it out actually. Hannah always does an amazing job.
well,
So, but it's, you know, and creating this book too, I do have to thank the team. It's, you know, like Brian did an amazing job on that cover. Uh, you know, some people can say I'm a little bit fussy.
no, I think
um,
we did great,
and
honestly.
it's been awesome. No, but it was awesome. Like the writer, like the editors, everybody, all the whole team pulling together and getting it in there. The final product, I am so proud of. Yeah, I couldn't have asked to work with a better publisher. That was awesome.
We are honored to work with you, and congratulations.
Thank you.
Everyone get the book, The Other Pauline. It is all over. You can go to Barnes Noble, you can go to Amazon, you can go to Pauline's website. If you have any questions, please connect with Pauline. If you cannot find her, please reach out to us and we will connect you. Thank you, Pauline, and congratulations again. Thank you, everyone, and happy Monday.
Thank you so much, Hannah.